Hello and welcome to the third video tutorial in this 10-part video tutorial series on creating an e-commerce site using Drupal 7 and Ubercart. I am Peter Jaworski, the Toronto website developer specializing in Drupal, and I'm bringing this video tutorial series to you in collaboration with Ubercart.org. So let's go ahead and we'll dive into video tutorial 3. If you've watched 1, you know that that was setting up our Ubercart, or rather our Drupal installation, our server, uploading Drupal, installing it, creating our database and whatnot. Second video tutorial was on Drupal's terminology, so modules, themes, nodes, blocks. You should be familiar with all of that. If you haven't, I recommend you check out the second video tutorial. This third video tutorial will be checking out adding functionality to your Drupal Ubercart site. So, as we mentioned before, Drupal comes with a set of core functionality, so we're going to want to extend that, specifically with e-commerce, as well as some search engine optimization. And to do that, we're going to have to go over to Drupal.org, and grab some new modules. So if you're brand new to Drupal, this is going to be a little bit different for you. So I'm going to walk you through kind of what this is, what to think about if you're going to be adding functionality, downloading new modules, and what to consider before you actually go ahead and do that. So we're going to go to download and extend. And one of the things we're going to check out here is Drupal modules. So you can go by the most installed, check out what's most popular, get an idea of kind of what you want to look at. But you can also go through categories. If you know you want to add search engine optimization to your site, you can look for that type of a category. In fact, I don't even know if it exists, so I should check that out before I lead you astray. But SEO, so there we go. We have an SEO category, so we can check that out. So that's the first part. So second part is you have the search. So I know that I want to get the views module. So I'm just going to go to view to modules here. I'm going to search for views. And if you watched one of the first tutorials, you know that views is pretty much the most popular, well, it is the most popular module out there for Drupal, and it's installed on about, I want to say 400,000 sites that report it. We'll check it out right here. Yeah, 468,000. So first thing you're going to look at when you check out a new module or you're considering a new module is what does the description say? So this description here, you'll have one for every module, and it's actually provided by the contributor. So the contributor of Views module is Merlin of Chaos, and you'll see here the maintainers of the module are a bunch of different ones here. And what they do is, because Drupal is all open source, these people contribute back to the community, and they will provide, these commits are actually patches to the Views code. So different changes, bug fixes, new functionality, upgrades, whatnot. So first thing you're going to look at is the description. What does this module do? Second thing you're going to look at is take a look at this reported installs. So how many sites actually say that they're using this? This gives you an idea of how big this module is. So 468,000 sites report using this. So that's a pretty significant number. It makes it the most popular module in Drupal. But with that, you're going to actually check out the issues. So here on the side, you're going to see the issues that are open for this module. So if there's a bug, a feature request, documentation request, whatnot, all of those are considered issues. You create a ticket. Anyone can create a ticket from the community, identify a problem, anything you need to report. So the bug reports here, you'll see that 673. And you can contribute, you can put those back, and maintainers will check those out, but other users will check that out, and you can create some conversation going on there. So this seems like a lot of issues, but at the same time, on 468,000 sites, kind of explains why we might have that, so that's okay. Next thing you're going to want to look at is resources. So here, there's a big push to get some documentation out for contributed modules. So if you get huge modules, like Ubercart's a massive module, you're going to want to make sure that there's some documentation out there for it. So if you're looking at a module, you're not really sure what it does, and you don't have any documentation, you might want to reconsider or look for alternative sources of information, much like Drupal video tutorials on TorontoWebsiteDeveloper.com. So those are the main things that you want to check out. Sometimes you'll have lists of dependencies here. So if you want to get one module, you have to get another module, which is the case with views. We have to get chaos tools. But once you've done all that, you're going to come down to the download section here. And so typically what you'll end up finding is a recommended release. So these are what's considered stable releases. These are good for production sites. Doesn't mean that you won't run into a bug, but it means more often than not you're not going to have a problem unless you start working with other modules and that kind of thing. You can run into some issues, but that's where you would submit your issue in the issue queue. So you'll see here we have 7.x-3.3. This is the Drupal 7 version. Drupal 6 is still being supported, so you'll see here we have the Drupal 6 version. This other release, this is kind of like a beta release. So if we're adding new functionality to a version, you'll typically get another release. It's not in development, but it's not in production. So kind of use at your discretion on your site. So you'll see it's 3.0. That's because there was a major change in Drupal 6 from 2 to 3. So 3 is supported in Drupal 7, so that's why that's there. Developmental releases should not be used on production sites. What these are, you know, if we identify patches, problems, and we're creating patches for a module, those will be in developmental releases. Again, new functionality will be developed in developmental releases. Sometimes you'll find a module, especially with Drupal 7 kind of being, well, it's not so new now, but you'll find a module that will only have a developmental release. That's up to you if you want to use that. I would caution you in doing so. If you do, make sure you're on top of your site and you're not getting any errors. But again, it's totally your site, so if you want to do that, typically what will end up happening is in the documentation describing the module, it will say something like, do not use this for production sites, or it could say, you know, we're still in development, but try it out. So anyways, if we were to download this, we would go ahead, grab our tar or zip file, and I've created a folder on my desktop. And so I would go to UC tutorial and I would go ahead and save this. I've already done that. And so that's what we do. Now at this stage, I'm going to put up a whole bunch of modules that we're going to download. So we'll reconvene once you actually do that. I'll provide you with URLs. So those are coming up now. You'll see them. One thing I'm going to flag is that all Drupal modules will have the same URL, drupal.org/project/ and so beginning URL, but the actual name of the module will end that URL. So everything for modules is drupal.org/project/ and the actual module name. So those are on the screen now. Go ahead and get those, and we'll reconvene once you download those and extract those. So once you've extracted them, you should have something like this. You'll see where I've got a number here, and I'm going to actually just do a few things because I didn't do this properly. Sorry, bear with me. And token. The reason why I have them all in the same folder is just because it makes for easy upload. So with that, what we're going to do is go to our FTP, and I'll walk you through where we're going to upload these to on our actual site. So see here, I'm going to Toronto Website Developer. So I'm going to go into my specific install. So you'll recognize this. This is my Drupal install that we did in video 1. And you'll see here we have a modules folder and a themes folder. So you might be inclined to install all your modules into, or upload all your modules to the modules folder, but that's wrong. What you will end up doing if you do that is you will create a huge problem when you go to upgrade Drupal at a later time. This modules folder is only for core Drupal modules. When you go to upload Drupal, you will overwrite that folder. If you put your contributed modules in there, you will erase all those contributed modules, your site won't work, and you will post on the forums and say, my site doesn't work, what did I do wrong? What you're going to do is look at this sites folder. This is where you will update all your content. You'll see you have an all folder and a default. The difference between these is default only applies to this specific URL that you are using, your default site. So mine is uc.torontowebsitedeveloper.com. If you had a multi-site installation, meaning you had a bunch of URLs all pointed to the same Drupal install, which is possible with Drupal, you can put them in the alls folder. And what this will do is all of those URLs can use the same code. So when you're maintaining your code, upgrading your code, very simple to do, they all share the modules. If you didn't want to do that, you would have your sites all sites default, and you would have specific folders for your multi-site installation. Again, beyond the scope of this module, this video tutorial, but just making you aware of that. The other thing to note is we downloaded all these modules the manual way. We went to drupal.org/project/ and then whatever module we were grabbing. It's very slow, very tedious. Drupal installations actually provide you with a quick install through the actual site itself. So you can go here to install a new module. The one thing you want to be careful about this is you want to make sure that you have a secured connection. So if you're doing this and it's not secured, you'll be transmitting all your information over the internet. So up to you if you want to do that. Somebody can always hijack that FTP information. So that's one way. The other way to do that, and if you're feeling very ambitious, is to look at Drush. So Drush is some scripts that you can install onto your server, command line, and you can use a simple command, drush dl, list all the modules you want to download, and Drush will take a look at what version of Drupal you're using. If there are stable releases out there for those modules, download them all, and you can then run drush enable all of those modules again, and it will enable them all in one step. what takes you maybe 10-15 minutes to do will take you 30 seconds to a minute, depending upon what you're downloading, the size, and what you're enabling. So a couple different options there. Check out Drush, always awesome to use. So back to our site here. What we're going to do is go over to our modules now. And you'll see we get this nifty overlay. So this comes with Drupal core. I'm not a huge fan, so first thing that I always do when I'm setting up a site is to take off the overlay. And I also remove the toolbar because I like to use the admin menu, which we downloaded. So I go ahead and save that configuration. Admin menu was around since Drupal 6. I'm used to it. You'll see all my video tutorials use it. I'm a big fan. Next thing that we're going to do before we enable any of our other modules, system log. We're going to go ahead and grab that. What this does is records system events to our system log so we can see if there are any errors, make sure everything's working properly. So I save that because if we have any problems when we're installing modules, we want to know what those are. Having system log enabled first will capture all that information. So let's walk through our modules. First things first, we downloaded the admin menu. So that's what creates this administration subsection here. So we're going to enable the administration menu, and we're going to enable this administration menu toolbar style. So you'll see this when we actually install it. It's going to look a little bit different, but it's a similar toolbar that's up at the top of your screen. Makes getting to nested menus pretty easy. Chaos Tools is next. We downloaded this. This is Views requires this. It's a helper module. Doesn't do anything specifically itself, but it's a library of helpful tools. Again, by Merlin of Chaos, who actually wrote Views. A couple other modules depend upon this. Pretty crazy stuff. So you might see other modules if you enable panels. Download and enable panels. It will look for Chaos Tools. Meta tags, search engine optimization modules. So meta tags are specific wording that you can associate with a page. So you tell search engines that this is about Drupal, it's about Ubercart, it's about web development. But you can also provide a brief description about the page, and that description is used when search engines are indexing your site. So if you search Drupal video tutorials, you'll see my website come up, Toronto Website Developer. I was #1, I think I'm still #1, hopefully I am. And you'll see there's a description there. So that's a meta tag. Admittedly, mine aren't too good on my site. I have to go back and redo them. I was just updating them the other day, so hopefully they look better. But those descriptions are meta tags. Long story there. So then we're looking at color box. What color box is, if you remember the overlay that we had when we came to modules, we get a similar overlay if we're looking at images, and I think it can be used for nodes and that kind of thing, but images is what we'll use it for. So you click on a small image and we'll get this blow up, but it won't actually reload our page. It'll just kind of be there on top the same way that that overlay was. So that's why we're going to use color box. We're actually going to have to go ahead when we go to set this up and download the plugin for it. It comes separately. Entity API, a couple modules that we got are dependent upon Entity API and Entity Tokens, so we're going to go ahead and grab those. Talking about entities is a little beyond the scope of this video tutorial series. Path Auto, so what this allows us to do is automatically create URLs when we create content. So, rather than have something ugly like node/13, we can have product/book, product/video tutorial. Every time we create a product, it will automatically grab whatever we tell it to grab. So we'll set ours up as product/node title, and that will take care of setting all our URLs. Pretty powerful, and it's great for search engine optimization. What does search engine know node-3 is compared to product/Drupal book? Redirect, another search engine optimization, allows you to redirect from old URLs to new URLs as you update them. So good thing there. Token, what this allows us to do, remember when we said we were going to have URLs that were product/node title? Node title is actually a token. This module will then grab our actual node title, whatever that value is, Drupal book, and plug it in. So that's how we use Path Auto. Obviously a dependency, you see here, required by. Global redirect, just as I mentioned, stop duplicate content arising when Path module is enabled. So we want to have that. Search engine optimization, always good to have. Rules, Ubercart is dependent upon rules. As certain things happen in Ubercart, we want to make sure that our site does certain things. So as an order is created, we want to make sure that we get an email. That's all dependent upon rules, so we want to have that. You can schedule your rules to happen at certain times. I don't think we're going to use this, so I'm not going to enable it, but good chance we'll come back to it. Rules UI allows us the user interface to actually create our rules and set those up, so that's what that is. We have a search engine optimization category here. Obviously we had a bunch already, but page title. This is your page title up here, modules, and then I've got my Ubercart tutorial. This is huge search engine optimization goldmine. So what you want to do is put your keywords in here. Page title actually provides you with the fine-grained controls to do that. Google Analytics, want to know where people are coming from, how long they're staying on our site, what they're doing. This enables us to do that. Now we're into Ubercart. Remember, we downloaded one module, Ubercart, and look at all the functionality that it gives us. Pretty crazy stuff. That's why we have this video tutorial series to help you guys out. So Ubercart core, all of this you're going to have to enable. The cart, orders, product, store, pretty intuitive. The optional, we're going to run through all of this stuff in our video tutorial series. So let's enable it all. Shipping, shipping quotes, tax report, taxes. You will have a fully functioning site once we're done this video tutorial series that you'll be able to have people download files, take payments, product attributes, reports, you name it, you can do it. The extra, we want our cart links. Definitely want to have those set up. We want to have analytics for Ubercart. I will show you how to create product kits because I am that great of a guy. And we're going to show you how to maintain stock with Ubercart. In terms of our fulfillment, we're going to use flat rate, we're going to use UPS, we're going to use weight quote. UPS is actually going to be provided to us by kingsofchaos.ca. They have a UPS site. They're allowing us to use that to get our quotes. So I'll show you how to configure that. You will need your own UPS account if you want to do this and have shipping quotes on your site. But again, check out kingsofchaos.ca because they're awesome and they're providing that to us for this video tutorial series. In terms of payment, we're going to look at PayPal. I'm going to show you how to set it up. And the reason why I'm using PayPal is because no longer do you have to have a PayPal account to pay with PayPal. It's been a couple of years, but it's just great. You can accept credit card payments, and PayPal obviously takes their 3% off the top, but you don't have to worry about setting all of that up, and they take care of all of the security for that. Views. I'm going to set up views, so if you watch the previous video tutorial series, you know that views is your graphical user interface to create database queries. You don't have to write them, which is a time saver, so we definitely want that. Views UI, we need that to actually set up our views. Lastly, search engine optimization, XML sitemap. We need XML sitemap custom, so what these actually are, Google's indexing your site. You want to tell them all of your URLs, where to find them, how to get to them. That's what a sitemap is. So you want to enable that. You want to have the search engines. You want to have your menu links. You want to have your nodes in there. You want to have your taxonomy terms. You want to have your users. Just before we save, one thing I should mention, we didn't actually download secure pages. So we will be doing that at a later time. I will show you how to get a certificate, set up some secure pages because you're going to be accepting personal information from users. So you want to make sure your site is secure, encrypted, and you're using HTTPS when you're doing that. So obviously we forgot to get that module. We'll come to it at a later time when we go to set that up. Let's go ahead and save our configuration. Okay, so a couple things to note here. We went ahead and enabled a ton of modules. Not always the best idea to do in Drupal. The reason why I did it is because we have a clean install and we're using modules that I know are good. I use them pretty much on every Ubercart site that I have, so I know that they play well together, at least the versions that I'm getting. If this were an existing site and we had a lot of functionality, we were adding a ton more functionality, we wouldn't necessarily want to install these all at the same time because if you get a problem, you're not going to know what created that problem or what to do, how to fix that. So always a good idea to enable a couple at a time. If you can, enable one at a time and always back up your site before you're enabling new modules. Second thing to mention, we enabled a ton of modules here, but we need all of them. These modules that you install will will use up your site memory. So all of the module code is loaded on site pages. So you'll see we'll be disabling UI pages later for views and rules because we won't be using those. We don't want that module code to be loaded because we want to make sure that we load as much or as minimal as possible so that we maintain a lot of memory. Sometimes when you get a new site, you kind of get module happy. You start enabling a ton of stuff. You'll run out of PHP memory. You'll have to increase that. The other thing is it'll slow down your site. So be diligent. Choose specifically what you need, and don't go overboard. But that's enabling modules. So that's the end of this video tutorial. We went ahead, I showed you Drupal.org, showed you some of the things to think about, read the description, check out the issue queue, how many sites are using this site, or using this module, and is it a stable release. Once you do that, you're going to upload them to the sites module, to the sites folder, not the actual just modules folder. Always use sites. If it's the only site, you can just go to sites all, put them right in there in the modules folder, and then you're going to come over to modules and you're going to enable those. Just before we go, remember I mentioned the recent log messages? So we want to check that out, make sure we don't have any issues. This is how we do it. You see that everything enabled cleanly here, which is good. If it didn't, it would be red and we would have an error. That would be a good way to figure out why our site is down. So I hope this video tutorial helped. If you already knew about this, hopefully we'll see you in video tutorial 4. Leave a comment on ubercart.org, TorontoWebsiteDeveloper.com. You can leave a comment on YouTube if you're watching it there, but I'm sorry, I get a lot through YouTube, so I typically don't have a lot of time, but I do try to keep on top of the comments on TorontoWebsiteDeveloper.com. So come over to my site, check it out, check out a couple other video tutorials, and let me know if they're helping you. Especially maybe tweet, maybe throw out a Google+, or like or whatever I have on there, I can't remember. Or buy me a beer. Anyways, take care. We'll see you in video tutorial 4.